We were muted.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Ryan's Family Amusements here in Millis, Massachusetts. I'm Bob Lee. We were on mute a second ago. We have Fernando Gacharna of Central Park Lanes visiting Dan Gauthier here on lanes 21 and 22. Gacharna with the first ball comes in left side. The head pin leaves 5 and 10. Wood will connect if he hits the 5 at the right angle. Gacharna on the wood misses the object. How about that match that Dan Castle just called? Danny Esdale swept me 14-0. I wasn't. I 6:05 to 5:20. Dan and I suspect, as Fernando puts up a 9, Dan I suspect is gunning for the A division next year.
Yeah, I think so, without a doubt. The numbers this year in all three divisions are higher than what we anticipated. We expected the B division to be like between 100 and 109. We have a lot of people plus 110 right now.
Gacharna's second ball comes in on the 4-pin, takes 3. Yeah, he was saying after the match that was his third 600 this week, and that includes a 636, I believe, at Union Street in Holbrook, where pins don't fall. That is a house of horrors, so to speak. Real, a good, very difficult to score in the 630s like that. Gacharna will take his third ball here in the second, take a 10. We're at a bowling alley. We have it's like a delighted crowd of 4-year-old boys celebrating one of life's passages.
Well, as I was talking about in the last match, Ryan's is a hopping place on the weekends. It's a great place to bring your kids. They have a lot of birthday parties. We have one going on behind us right now, and the kids just finished bowling.
Gacharna!
They're having a blast, and they're getting to watch some of this match too.
That's 2 times. Gacharna's throwing 36 miles an hour at the head pin, which means it's coming out of his hand around 39 or 40. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. And he is, both times he's crossed over in the first and in the third and left almost impossible splits. Let's see. How about that? Yep.
Yeah. I think that had to involve the front wood somehow.
So he's open at 27 through 3. 8, 9, and 10 so far. Gacharna bowls out of the Central Park Lanes division, headed by Eddie Woodside right now. Rich Lamoni in second place. Fernando's got third over his brother, Lou, by percentage points. Tell you, when Fernando and Lou, I put this offer out. When Fernando and Lou battle each other, because they're division mates, they'll battle at the end of the season. When they face each other, big 4 coming up on a spare leave here. Good bid, but
I thought he would have gone to the right on that one myself.
Yeah, you need a lucky splash on that. As Fernando throws for 10, he takes it. 37 through 4. Well, I was saying that when the Gacharnas face each other in that last battle, I would like to have a broadcast on Candlepin Bowling Network in Spanish. I'm looking for a Spanish broadcaster to carry that. We've got a growing population in cities where Candlepin was always big. Lynn, Revere, down around East Boston. The sport's taken off like it always has with every generation. And we need to, I'd love to get, if anyone who is fluent in Spanish and would like to broadcast the Gacharna match, contact me on Facebook Messenger, and I'd love to put that up.
That's a great idea. I think that, and the recordings of these matches last a long time.
Yeah.
So even if it's not in a live audience now, it'll be meaningful down the road.
So Fernando is had the 4 and 2 and played it like you have to on the inside if you want to connect on it, but just got it a little too thin. And this for At 8. 45. Tough side. He had 3 splits on his 3 head pins.
Well, there's a difference too. I mean, Millis is composite lanes and Central Park is wood lanes, and it takes a little bit to adjust back and forth. I know Fernando does it.
Yeah, the ball certainly moves differently
than I do, but Gauthier.
The shoe crosses over. That's exactly the same ball that Lou started with, but the only difference, Gauthier gets the wiggle to knock down. He had a stray piece of wood that took out the 5. It was almost identical. I mean, got to give him 8 miles an hour to Fernando. But
pieces of wood there.
For the spare, it's good. 3 pieces of wood did their job.
That gives him the early lead in the match.
Yeah, the plates in the back are in the best condition ever here. Full on the head pin and gets a nice drop. This is almost like very similar to the split that Fernando had in the 3rd. The 6 pin though fell forward late. Danny puts a lot of action on his ball. Gets some of that late action. There it is.
Nice and clean.
Hits the left side of the 7 pin for 2 straight spares. 19 and a ball.
2 9 drops.
The man known as Shoe. Drop that one. Gets away with 6. 7.
He went over with us on an earlier show this year about the origin of that nickname. It's quite a story.
Yeah, well, the rest of the team was putting their nicknames on their shirts, and Dan didn't have a nickname and didn't want to have a nickname. And they kept asking, here it is for spare and for...
Oh, that should have gone.
That would have been for 3 in a row, but he'll be open. 36 through 2 with a 7 fill, and this for a 46. If he can make it. Yep. He crosses Fernando with 2 to play here on the top of the first string. We're in Millis, home of probably about half of the bowlers in the ACST South. So anyway, Shu didn't have a nickname, and he was getting, I can't remember who it was, but they kept saying, no, you can't just put down Dan, you can't just put down Gauthier, like you see on his green jersey here. And they told him, he said, what? I'll just, is it the next thing that I see? Gauthier open in the 4th, and there was a shoebox, and so they called him Shoebox, and that got shortened out to Shoe. Is that right? Is that the whole story?
Yeah, that's
Dan?
pretty much the story from as I recall.
Well, so it's perfectly random. That'll be an 8, 54 through 4, 14 over, and a 19-pin lead over Fernando is 5 under after 5. Relative to their box.
It's an interesting story. I've seen, I'm a fraternity guy in college, and pretty much everybody had nicknames there, and some of those were random stories like that. Some of them were a characteristic of the person.
Yeah, you'd name them as they come through the pledge line.
That's a movie.
No, that was what we did.
Yeah, it wasn't quite like that for us. It just kind of grew.
We had a guy named, his nickname was Fetus. That was Shoe. Chopped that one just a little full. It was on the right side, but he has his ball has significant right to left action on it. So that one pushed through. Nice 10 and a 64 half. Started off with a pair of spares, fills of 9 and 7.
Only left 2 pins standing.
And a 19-pin lead.
Fernando needs to get some marks going here.
Oh, Fernando.
I watched him in warm-up, though. He was doing great. So
Fernando designed the logo that I use on my when I'm running the broadcast.
Oh, I didn't know
Danny.
that.
He's got the silhouette of the bowler on the ACST logo. Fernando crosses over, a little thin this time, but a good outcome.
1-3, 1-2 pocket.
Yeah, and he's got, it was on the 1-2 pocket, and he's got the 3-5 left. Second ball.
Oh, just off. Just off.
Ooh, the right to left action. This ball is spinning hard, but he's throwing so fast it's not, you don't see it. That one caught the synthetic lane just a little bit.
Yep.
Those are the kinds of adjustments you get shocked. It looks like synthetic lanes are going to behave like glass or not pick up friction very much, but the interaction they have with certain balls, not urethane, but the certain balls, they will grab harder than anything. There it is again. Fernando crosses over, and this time not only does the split break up, both sides break up into a strike.
That's what he needed to do.
And the 9 was the last to fall on that one.
Well, I learned. So I've been using urethane balls for years, and then I got a new set because I went down from 2-pound 7-ounce balls to 2-pound 6-ounce balls, and I ended up with a pair of plastic balls and found that they were hooking like crazy in this lane. And then I don't know if it was Jack Klein or Jason Doucette that said you need to switch back to urethanes.
Nando for the spare on strike.
He's got it. No.
Nope, 9 on that fill. So he will be at 74 through 7. He's 4 over. Shu is at 64, 14 over. So it's nominal 10-pin lead, the way I keep track of the score. Danny, go ahead. About the urethane balls?
Yeah, so I found that when I picked up a set of 2.6 urethanes, I had a much more manageable hook. But then when I go to wood lanes, like say Norwood or CPL, I switch back to the plastic. They seem to work better with the wood.
Craig Holbrook has advised me, and I haven't always followed it. Nando, first ball in the 9th, crosses over again. He has found that 1-2 pocket is working for him. Now he started with 3 splits off of it, and now he's got a strike and a 9 drop. 6-pin stands alone, and it's still there.
Just off.
Yeah, that's the way I felt out there. Didn't capitalize on my opportunities in my game.
It happens to all of us.
But 10 in the 9th puts him at 93. He's 3 over. Needs to get, even if Dan is open on the back, imagine he's going to throw probably at least a 45, 46. It'd be nice for Fernando to pick up a spare. So he has a chance if Gauthier's open. He's more than likely to get 1 or 2 spares.
I think
he crossed
Gauthier
over again.
Disagrees with that statement.
No, you got to give yourself a chance though. An open bowler in the A's is still going to end up with 47 more often than a 42. And okay, Fernando has 2 pieces of wood. I don't know. He could bounce off of it too. And his ball's cooking a little bit too much to the left.
Clearly playing for that front pin as he should, but a little wide to the left.
Right, so he's going to have a 103. 1 mark, 9 fill, and he left 6 pins standing on the plate.
Now we see Gauthier coming up. No, we haven't finished the match yet.
So. It's 103 though. And Gauthier, if you're many people who watch, not most, are distracted. They're not always keeping track of the score. They don't know. They don't know what their score is. But Gauthier has a 64, and he needs, I think, 39 to tie, 40 to win.
Yep, exactly. 40 wins it. Doesn't have to mark it all. Just
of course, total is in play. Gauthier carrying an average of 115 this year. He's 63 and he's 85 and 69. 3-pinner, which is about a 50-50 shot for a pro bowler. Hit the object and it goes, usually.
But without wood, if you don't hit the object, it doesn't.
Yep. Weirdest thing in the stats that I've been keeping, though, is that a 2-pinner and a 3-pinner are both coming in at around 53% for the pros. And I just don't understand it. It just seems like the 3-pinner should have a lower rate, you know? But I think I can't make it. I can't just disagree with my data. So that was a 10.
We saw an interesting one Monday night in Tim Douglas versus Duncan McDougal.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but look up that match. And around 44 minutes into the match, Douglas spares a spread eagle.
Wow.
Clean. And that was on a strike field, so
throwing probably 43 miles an hour this
week.
He
was consistently in the 42-43 range.
Yeah.
But that came through. Total surprise.
Yeah, Timmy having quite a week himself. Threw 674 at the Pro Series last Sunday to lead all qualifiers. The event that Sean Baker's random draw team ended up taking that one with Freshie, and I was covering it with Greg Gauthier. I can't remember. That one's on Candlepin Bowling Network. That one came down to the last throw. Oh, a quarter Worcester.
Oh man,
cut. Yeah.
Just
Dave
the
Barber,
the 2 or the 3 pins in that all.
And I talked to Dave after. He was devastated by it, but he, if he'd made that, obviously, it wouldn't have come down to the last ball, and the last ball ended up losing by 1 pin. He would have. It looked like he had clinched the match with that spare in the 9th, I think it was. And then the quarter Worcester, which is in the of the matches I watched 2,000 missed head pins by pros, and that one, the quarter Worcesters were occurring in this. I think it was 2 or 3 on either side.
And to clarify for bowlers, or for people watching who may not be Candlepin bowlers, what we call the half Worcester is when you punch out 2 on either side of the head pin.
We're back in action here.
Is wow! Look at that. Is it coming forward? No. 9 drop.
Threw that one on the right side of the 3 pin.
Yeah, he was right on
the pin to the right of the head pin and cleared out everything but the head pin. This for spare. Got it.
All over.
3 marks for Gauthier.
Submit 84 plus a ball.
He's really working on a lead right now for the total. He will win game 1. As long as he stays out of the gutter for the rest of the match.
Well, yeah, it's technically possible for him not to, but very unlikely. 6 in the fill gives him 90 to Fernando's 74.
Oh.
And he's at 96 with pins down, so he only needs 7 more pins to tie and 8 to win.
So you like to keep score, Dan, box to box.
Yeah.
So we've hit it through 7 complete. You'd say it's 90 to 74. I would say Dan's 20 over, and Fernando is 3 over. So
well, I also
that way you kind of know what came. If Fernando had thrown a triple, it would be silly to say he was.
Right. Well, what I keep track of is, box to box plus what you need.
So you give the context.
Yeah. So the context is important. Box to box is very relevant because that's where you stand today.
Here comes the shoebox.
Oh, that looked like a strike ball.
Wow. Yeah, it was.
He had a nice hook right into the pocket.
His spinning ball though sent the 2-pin left of the bundle of 5. That's what happens. You can see the head pin in the gutter on the left. It did no good for him.
Nice ball. Look at that.
How about that? That was pretty.
Well, he's
pretty, but not. But he's open. Yeah, he's at 108 and counting, I guess.
Yep.
Welcome if you just joined us. We're in the first. Dan Gauthier, the shoe, will win game 1. 109-103 with a box to play for Gauthier.
Well, going back to the quarter Worcester, as if you watch Candlepin for long, you find that we have names for a lot of the things that we leave. That's a 6 drop.
Check mark remains, fronted by the 3-pin.
And one of the most common ones is if you're off the head pin on either side and you can punch right through. That's called a half Worcester, where 2-pin drop. A quarter Worcester is if you hit either the 2 or the 3 pin, and the pin goes and punt goes through the rack without hitting anything, and the ball deflects out to the side. You just get 1 pin on what was not a terribly bad ball. It's very frustrating, so we call it the quarter Worcester.
Nice 10. Gauthier will take a 119, 103, 16-pin lead.
You got a score, right? Yeah. I feel so off right now.
I thought that for sure that last box or two you had a mark, and it looked good. You know, we're talking with Dan Gauthier here a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the way it was in our game too. When they set it up 5 at a time, it has to go that way in Millis. Anyway, Fernando now, he had a strike, and he had 4, maybe 5 full head pin shots in addition to that, in the pocket. Most of them on the left side, but he wasn't rewarded well on that.
His second half was much better than his first half. Right. So he picked up a little bit of steam.
So what were you saying about a half Worcester, Dan?
Well, we just talked about how, the half, there you go. That's a half Worcester. So that's makeable. You can make the spare if you do about like what he was doing there.
If I remember correctly, when I was in the hospital studying missed head pins by pros, of the 2,000, about 12% of missed head pins end up in half Worcester outcomes.
And that's why Bobby's our statistician, because when he's in a hospital, he's reading about missed head pins by pros, and some of the rest of us will read a book or watch TV.
Well, I would have liked to have read about it, but there were no books about the data, so I had to make my own.
It's a valuable resource. I pay attention to.
Here's one. How about that one?
Oh, that was
his
without
second
a doubt.
strike of the match. That was maybe. I think the difference between that one and some of the others is he was a little bit fuller, and everything was gone in an instant. I think there was 1 pin in the channel and 9 in the pit on that one.
But that's one of those you knew was going to be a strike as the ball's halfway down.
Back on that same spot, just maybe a 1/16 of an inch right of the last one, and 8 drop. Good thing there was the 3 and 6 falling late. Gives him a very good chance if the wood doesn't play games with him.
The wood's a little flat. It could go anywhere. It could carry it, but there's a risk of it deflecting too.
Looking for the spare on strike, pushes it, and how about that? The ball bounced up. I saw it hit something. It hit the ceiling, whatever's up there. Danny, what's up there above it? A pin deck. So it hit the pin deck, came right down on top of the 4 pin, and shoved it into the 7. It was gone. The wood was all gone. It had to be the ball.
That was reminiscent of back in when Cambridge was still open. We used to bowl there sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And the balls used to deflect way up, and they just disappear. And all of a sudden, your ball would come falling back down and hit something, which is a fair hit, but it was very odd.
Yeah, 3. Yeah. So 3 head pins in a row, a strike, a spare, and a 7, Phil. And Fernando's at 44 now, 14 over in the third. He's got a difficult pickup here.
Got to hit the right side of the wood like he's trying. Nope, didn't work. Too much.
The wood turned around the 5 pin. Those are fun to watch on slow motion. They're not fun to shoot, though. They're not fun to throw. Good pinning there for a 9. 53 through 4. He's 13 over.
Well, it just goes to show that pins are farther apart than they look from here. They're each about a foot apart. So there's a lot of open space back there.
That's right. But there's still no room, because of the way they're positioned in equilateral triangles. No room for the ball to fit between them. How about that for a miss? That one crossed over onto the 2 pin and left him a 1-3 for his third mark of the half. Fernando, just right.
Just misses the option.
Hey, he was hoping that when you hit the tip, sometimes you get a little shove, but the ball just plowed through. and a 62 half. So 12 over. 12 over bowler. That means if Gauthier were to throw 5 tens, he'd be losing by 12. And if he makes, he'll need at least two marks. And fills that are 12 more than the pins that he leaves standing on the deck. That's the way I think about it.
Yep. Just on a 3-pin.
That's a 1-2-7. I'm sorry, 1-2-10. My apologies. 2 pieces of wood on the left probably won't have anything to do with it, but they could bounce around off the left side and help out. How about that?
Oh, wow.
He hit it. He's hit it with the head pin.
There
And it's down. It was like a heavyweight boxer in the 14th round. Took a solid blow to the side of the head. It just stood there looking at the ref, said he wasn't going down, and then bam, he fell flat on his face. Spare in the first for the shoe.
Good thing there's no time limit. As long
That
as
was
it's before the next ball.
That
good.
was fun.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, just a. Not much wrong with that. It was. Can you be too full? Yes, obviously. That was a smattering full and a split. 7 on the fill though. 17. He's 7 over now. Trails by 5.
The wood might help.
And the wood might not help.
The wood can be your enemy. It looks great.
I was trying to explain helicopter wood to a friend at Norwood on Thursday night, and like that. If you hit I'd say anywhere on the last inch and a half of the pin. The pin is 15 inches long when it's down. If you can hit that's a 9 for 26 through 2. He's 6 over. Anywhere on the last inch and a half, and that pin is going to start spinning like a helicopter. And a 15-inch pin, and even though they're 12 inches apart, you're going to
You can do some damage.
do a lot of damage. Yeah.
Oh, he gets my least favorite leave. I think the spread eagle.
A splayed.
This is what we saw Tim
Eagle.
Douglas spare the other day.
Shoo! Sends it off. That's tough. It's got to go almost 90 degrees to the right to pull it off. A couple times I've made it spin actually. I've done it on the right side. I've sent the like that shot. That's the shot that I've used. It has to be even thinner. It has to realistically bounce off of the 4-pin on the other side and come back.
I spared one myself this fall, and I hit it from the left side. It carried over, and then knocked the pins from the back forward.
36 for Gauthier through 3. Spare a 9 and a 10. He's 6 over, trails by 6 versus his box.
Well, he's up against two marks now. He's up against 2 open.
Trails by 6 in his edge. Crosses over, and
That's a hammer.
the 10 was last fall on that strike. Both bowlers with a strike here in the second. That was Gauthier's first. So he remains 6 over with the next 2 balls adding to that. How about 6 like that? We're now tied at 12 over and a ball to come for Gauthier, and if he can convert it, he'll have a...
It looks set up pretty well to me. I think the head pin's going to take it. That back pin is in question. No, he's got to be on it. Oh, he hit
Wow!
the head pin anyway.
Yeah. The eyeball punched the ball right into the head pin. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he went
9 on that fill though.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly right. He was on the 2, and the wood carried back.
And with that 10, he finishes with a 65. 65, 62. Now they're in the same box, and they bowled the same number of frames. So you could say it's a 3-pin lead. That's easy.
That's
But with the format of the ACST, which is a favorable format for the bowlers. The bowlers want to go 5 at a time.
Yep.
We've tried 2 at a time in many formats, like Channel 5 used to. that can be more interesting because you can watch the ebb and flow of the game maybe as a viewer, but as a bowler, you just need some time to get, to warm up. And, your third, fourth, and fifth box are when you're really, when you're really throwing. Fernando open in the fifth now with his first ball in the sixth.
The head-to-head format's kind of fun sometimes too, and we've done some.
Oh
of those.
gosh, yeah. I think that's my favorite is head-to-head, both for broadcasting and for bowling. Oh, missed by a whisker left.
I can tell you I don't like going first. I much prefer to be second. For some reason, it helps me if I know what pins I need to pick up.
Good 10.
All right, back on it. Come on, man.
Nando stays 12 over, 72 through 6 in the second. He lost the first by 16. Thank you, Danny, for keeping the music down.
We don't want to lose our audio.
Talking to Danny Finn there. Oh boy,
Yeah, we're full of Dan's here.
that one was, you say it's gonna be a strike. That one looked like it could have been a strike. It was
To the left, though.
you know,
Little left.
how much? A quarter? Can you tell? A quarter
Enough
inch?
not to take off the head pin.
Yeah.
Look at
Three-
that.
What a pickup!
Oh, come on. Wow.
That would have been I don't have numbers on 3-in-1 splits. I have started a column, but I don't have a sample reasonable enough. I think it's going to be under 10% though.
Well, with the wood that he had there, he had to take it off the wall.
That's right.
It wasn't going to come off the
On all the split conversion data that I use, I don't include cases where there's wood on the table. That
Yeah, it's just either you make it or you don't. Yeah.
no, if there's wood, you don't count. You don't even
Okay.
record it.
You're doing clean.
Yeah.
You should publish this and post it somewhere, Bob.
I do. I'm Candlepin Bowling Network. Every time Paul Grant speaks, he memorizes the stats. 9 drop and the head pin stands for Fernando.
Everything but the head pin. And it
That
stands
ball
low.
exceeded the 38 mile an hour speed limit that the Jugs gun has. Shu's going to go look and see if that pin is over the line. I believe the line is 24 inches in front of the head
Something
pin.
like that, yeah. Rule of thumb most of the bowlers will use is if it's in the light, it's probably good.
All right, he's going back there.
But
Nope.
if any part of it touches that line or goes over, it's no good. So it's good.
He says if it's all behind the line, all right.
And that holds true.
I don't think the wood hurts here. I think the wood can only help. So how about that? He hit the wood. It
didn't carry the ball.
It's all
over,
your
no.
fault, Dan. Yeah, it's a couple of 9 drops that Fernando's missed.
Buddy, don't do that, please. Don't do that.
No, just-
There's an infinitely more often that you make the third after missing the second than the other way around.
I wish I could figure that out.
Infinitely more. Infinitely more.
Because that holds true for me.
Every time you make it the second time, you just for some reason you don't get a chance at it again.
That second chance is so much easier.
Is it? I want to do a study on it. I don't believe it.
On third ball.
I think if you're a 72% object hitter, you're going to hit the second time 72% of the time. Why would it be any different?
I don't know. I think there's some adjustment that you're making. Because all right, it's just off.
Oh,
I did keep stats on myself for a while. And one thing that I found was interesting is I made more marks in the 10th box than any other box by a good margin.
pretty bid there.
And I always wished I could.
Fernando had a Caleri leave after the first ball was left. Then he went head pin and front pin, but ends up with a 9. He's at 101, 11 over through 9. Dan Gauthier was at 15 over. Really could use a mark.
Oh, another half Worcester.
That one went down Route 28.
You shooting the inside or the outside, Bob?
pros should shoot on the inside of the.
That was on the inside.
You're a little more likely to carry that 5 pin if you're on the inside of the two.
Yep, that's what I try to do usually.
But both will go.
What a shot!
That was an almost impossible shot. A beautiful 111 though.
Two pins in the same plane, no wood, carries them both.
Fernando had a spare on strike in the third and fourth, and pinned well for a 111. He ended up with 17 pins on his fills, and he left 6 standing. That's how you got to 111. Now Gauthier, 15 over after 5. Crosses. Oh.
He's going to need a mark.
That one was in the 1-3 pocket, right?
Yeah.
And weirdly, like we were seeing a little bit with Dan, the head pin didn't carry the 2 pin. He's got this. That's where the triangle starts.
Tough shot. He's got a shot. He had the right idea.
Right.
He needed to be on the object pin.
So he's 15 over. He can't leave. If he leaves 5 pins standing, he'll need a mark.
Yeah.
Oh, how about
good bid.
That's good. That's a 9. So
Good
1
bid
pin.
on that.
He drops down to 14 over. He can make it. He has 4 boxes. He can make it with a 10 and 3 9s. He's high. Glenn Gill from the ACST.
Another ACST bowler business.
Oh. All right. Last 2 balls come in about the same spot on the right side of the head pin and giving him splits. Danny's ball is 28.6 miles an hour when it crosses the head pin.
Now he's going to want to get at least 2 of these.
2 100ths of a mile an hour difference between the last 2. He's very, very consistent. Wow, that's
There's 2.
that helps. It helps. But that means
They're tied up at box
he's
to
at
box.
12 over. Yeah, you say he's tied, but he's 12 over. He can win with all 10s, or he needs a mark.
Right. Well, they're
If he-
tied
if he
box
le-
to box.
If he leaves 1 more pin standing, it will be tied. If he leaves two standing, he will lose.
Yeah, he's got very little margin for error here. The best thing he can do is throw a mark.
All right, this is the lambda, the side saddle triangle with the head pin out front. Not exactly a lambda, but
One of you guys in the last match made this. Esdale made this.
Yeah,
going
that was
outside.
He got the head pin to bounce left. It came across the front and scraped the shins of the 8 pin, but it wiggled. It didn't fall down. That's 10.
That's big.
All right.
He needs that.
He's at 92. He needs 20 to win in 2 boxes.
He can't leave a pin on the deck right now. He's got to have 2 10s to win.
Shoe right of the head pin on that one. Not bad though. Look at that though.
Yep.
Good covering wood on the 10 pin in the corner. And the 1-2. He just needs a 2-pinner, which we would imagine is about a 51% shot for a pro.
He needs either side of the head pin, preferably probably the right. Like
He
he's going.
got
There
it.
he goes.
He got it.
That'll make it.
The only one in doubt was the 2 pin that took a glancing blow and fell down slowly. So with that spare, any kind of a fill, Gauthier should have it here.
As long as he keeps it out of the gutter and it's 10. That's 7.
He's won it.
8.
Yep. 110
He has 1.
and 8 in the box, working on a spare. So Gauthier will take the second string.
And another mark. Another spare. Puts him at 120 plus a ball.
And the fill.
That's a fill.
Beautiful. 9 drop. Wants to shoot at that one, but
129.
he'll have to get a reset. 129 is a 18-pin win. 34 total.
Yeah, I get in that situation. That's when I throw 7 bucks. That's the way to fix that problem.
Fernando gets ready to start the third. I'll show you the interim score. 248 to 214 after 2 in the total. Again, Gauthier has deposited 4 ACST points in the bank. Hey! Gacharna back on that crossover. Wood is a little odd here.
If he
It's a little
goes
out in
for
front.
the pin, I think that's very makeable. But the wood could deflect him away.
It's the 5-pin in front.
Right there.
Oh my!
Oh my goodness.
Oh!
There it goes.
A deserving bounce off the left side. He threw that ball exactly where the 5-pin was, but clipped the tip of that piece of defending wood.
That's where his ball speed made all the difference. It
Yeah.
gave him enough energy to bounce something off the wall to come back.
36 miles an hour at the head pin, or at the 5-pin where it was measured. Crosses over again, and how about this? Are you kidding me? That's the 6-7. A full, just you don't really want a different shot when you throw your head pin, your first ball.
No, the wood could help. I don't know.
It's an 8 fill though.
Oh, not quite. You had the right idea.
They make the curtains so that it's really hard to get one to bounce out of the deep corner behind the pit.
Yeah, it had to be more shallow. Nice. You found the ball in that one.
All right, that's 27 through 2 as he leaves one standing.
All right, box 3.
Another crossover.
There it goes.
He left again. It was the 6 and 7 were the last 2 to fall. The 6, I think the same pin hit both of them though, bouncing back and forth. And it was again the heavyweight fighter falling forward on his face. The 7-pin was the last to fall there. Strike in the third.
Very little difference between getting a strike and that split.
He's throwing a great first ball. And, well,
Off on a 3-pin. Got another ball for the fill. It's 4 so far.
first time he missed the head pin.
Didn't miss it that time.
And 9 on the fill, though. That's a 46 through 3. 16 over. This for a 10. Goodbye. 56 through 4.
Six- 16 over.
For the spare, no. Head pin and the 7. Still up. All right, so that would be a 64 half, 14 over. So Fernando ended up winning last year's ACST championship over Danny Finn by three.
Yep.
Danny, who was going last in that one, as I recall, had a good look. He had 9 drop to the 6 pin that he's still haunting him. So that's why I bring it up. that was the difference for Danny, but Fernando carried the day with it. He was well up in the 580 zone. It was a well-earned run through the playoffs too.
He was tearing it up last year in a semi-pro division. We used to call it the B division.
That's the 1-5. Tim Matero called that one out. He said that when his Worlds team went, sometimes the guys would get afraid to hit the head pin because of those splits, and he put a prize pool together and said whoever gets the 1-5 first gets the pool.
Oh, look at that effort.
Hey, pretty big.
That was big.
He still had 8 standing, and he knocked down 6 of them, or 5 of them. Anyway, they'd go all week, and then they wouldn't worry about it if they hit the head pin solidly. And the point of that was you should be aiming for the middle of the head pin. You aren't, even the best are not able to shade it right or shade it into the pocket. If you shade it to the right pocket, you're going to miss more to the right. If you shade it to the left, you're going to miss more to the left. You get the most head pins and the best outcomes on the middle.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Even though when you hit your target, you get bummed out. That's all.
There's always a risk of that happening, and it's frustrating as anything.
But if you're not aiming for it, if you're not aiming for the 1-5,
right,
you're probably hampering yourself. For the spare, it bounced. That was good. The ball was still on the deck.
Yeah, you just don't want those punch-outs to scare you off the head pin. And I've done it. I've seen other people do it. You get a few of those, and next thing you're unconsciously going to the side a little bit. Now you exacerbate.
Fill ball for Gauthier. Comes across again.
If you stay on the head pin, all
7
good things will happen.
7 in the fill.
That's a tough league.
So he's at 26 through 2, 6 over, chasing Fernando's 14 over.
5, 8, 10. Got to be right on it. A little too full. You had to be between the 5 and the 8 and hope there's something carried over to the 10. No guarantees, but that was the shot.
For a 10.
Oh,
9
good bid.
9 for Shu. 35 in the third. Has a 3-step approach, standing to the left side of the alley. That one comes in on the 3-pin, and he has 1, 2, 4 remaining. Wood both behind and in front of the 4-pin.
Oh yeah.
Solid shot, and
There you go.
everything's done. That
was a little scary.
second
for a
spare
second.
for Shu.
That back pin looked like it was going to stay up. Shouldn't have. It was hit properly.
Needs a 9 fill to catch up to Fernando. How about 6? He's at 51 through 4 complete boxes. Needs a 10 to finish at 61. 3-1 split.
Oh,
He got super thin.
What a valiant effort that was.
I mean, perhaps he overcut it. I mean, I hate to
No,
say it, but
it looks like it touched it.
It kind of stopped dead of it and rolled forward.
Little backspin on the pin then.
Yep. That for a 10, 61, a 3-pin lead for Fernando.
It's close.
Gauthier leads by 31 overall in the match.
That was a great shot.
We're at the midway point. Fernando is called a timeout. So with 64, Fernando is at 277, and Gauthier at 309.
Here we go.
Halfway through their the 5-string match.
Back on lane 22.
Lead is 31 pins.
I found a lot of bowlers don't like this lane. I do like it. I don't know. How do you feel
You get
about
the
22?
got the iron hanging over your head, but it doesn't bother me here. It actually bothers me more on the far left on lane 1.
On lane 1, it's impossible. I can't bowl on that lane.
It comes close to my head, is all. Ooh.
Yeah.
Bundle of 5.
That's how I feel about lane 1. Is you got the thing hanging over. It's much closer than it is on 22, and you can't touch it. But it's like my hand goes out to the left as I'm bowling, and I'm very tempted to grab it.
Good 10 for Fernando. Hit his object on the last 2. He had a spare and a strike in the first half. Fills of 8 and 9.
74 after 6.
Fernando has 3 strikes on the day. Dan Gauthier only 1, but he's got the lead in the spare category.
Oh, it was a solid head pin hit. Three, what's that? 3, 6, 7. You want to cut the ball over if you can. That's what he's trying to do.
Boom! What a shot!
Exactly what he was trying to do.
He had another one like that earlier today, and can't give it a better bid on the. Jeez, it even touched at the end. It went back and forth and then back again.
That's amazing. That looked like a great shot.
And he hits the eyeball. Well, you know, there's a 3-inch diameter cap on a 15-inch long pin. He chose to hit. Well, he didn't choose to hit the cap, and shoots off in a different direction.
Yeah, that's aggravating as anything. You got one on there. It's a layup shot. Well, he broke up that spread eagle sort of.
Yeah, it's like a spread eagle that you can say we call them clipped wing eagles when you take out the corner. How about that? Clip the elbow off.
Yeah, it's a lame eagle.
It's like a shoulder. Yeah, like broken wing eagle. Still really hard to make because you got to get those two parallel pins to go. You know, the 2 and the 3.
$9. Slow down a little from his first half. He's going to want to mark out here.
He's still 12 over. Started 14 over on the backside.
Reassessing the situation. That's a good thing to do sometimes. Just take a breath. Think through. Get your head back into it. He's not doing bad. He's had a couple of good 9 boxes.
Another couple splits. How about that one? That one's
There-
shaking and
there it goes,
breaking.
there it goes.
The 6 pin was the last to fall that time. 4th strike
Yeah,
for
paid
Fernando.
off. That mental break paid off.
2nd of the game here in the 3rd. Fernando looking for 2. Full.
You're kidding me.
For once, he was on the right side of the head pin, and that's about as frustrating as it gets.
That was
It's worse than a split. It's a 3. It's a 1, 2, and 1.
That was a 1-3 hit. Beautifully done. Yeah.
I mean, you
2 or 3.
gotta try to hit the 5 pin and hope
1.
things bounce.
7 fell. Now, if you get 2 here, you're lucky.
You're still, yeah. Hit your object 3 times and you get an 8. But it was 7 in the fill, 109 through 9, and 117 for Fernando from Central Park Lanes.
All right, now we get to see Dan Gauthier again.
117 bowler is obviously 17 over his box. And Shu is at 11 over, so he needs
56 to tie,
Yeah.
57 to win.
could be done with
one
good
mark.
good pinning and a mark, yeah.
4 horsemen's not a bad start,
They do tend to fall here in Millis.
especially if Rick Kamrowski's in the house, because that's the Kamrowski special.
I bowled with him a few years, maybe a little above the 36% pro average, I'm not sure.
I don't know who started that. Paul
Paul did,
Granston.
of course.
There we go.
There it is. That's a big one. Now he's got a lot of room for a second spare that would help, but he's got to get 6 or more on this fill to draw even.
Well, there's 7.
Yep.
Okay.
Third spare of the game. Fernando had 2 strikes and a spare in his side.
1, 2, and 10. A little wood over by the 10. And he's off the 1.
All right, so he 1 and 10 for 10. Great ball.
Great ball.
So he's
Puts him up 5 through.
He's
boxes
18,
completed.
18 over. All 10s will do it. He's got 3 boxes left.
Yep.
But 9 and he's tied.
That cuts it close.
A spare and he probably wins.
A little late action. That's interesting. I don't know if I like that better or what he had better.
I hate it. I wanted the piece to. It's really hard to hit that sleeper on the right now.
Yeah.
You got to get the
Just
ball to
right.
carry through, and
Or the pin. But
the
it's really
pin on the left is nice. You know, the 4-7 should go.
Yeah, that's what you thought was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean,
Hit it
it
beautifully.
can happen. It could. You got to bounce something off a wall and have it swing across in the right way.
Yeah. I was hoping the head pin would go back to it, but it just not at the right angle.
Another 10 though.
There you go.
So Gauthier is still on track, just like the last game. He needs 20. In the last game, he had a pair of spares and he ended up winning by 30.
But he was down
By
to
18
needing
pins.
20, and it's exactly the same situation here.
Yep.
An 8 box will force him to have to spare.
How about that? A strike, and that will pretty much lock up game 3.
That match has got Fernando's strike.
I guess he needs officially 5 in the next 2 balls to tie, and any more than that. There it is.
There we go.
That officially wraps up game 3. Gauthier in the wild card battle. He also has a chance, I guess. Let's see, go to the ace.
There's another spare.
Wow.
Pile up
Spare on strike. So he now at 118 through 9. And all his fill and the 10th frame will be gravy.
Five, 6. 6 it is. 134.
Wow. So at
17 pin lead.
17, he won the first by 16, the second by 18, and the third by 17.
Before I get the water.
We're looking at a 51 point lead. 382, 331 through 3.
So 51 pins, Fernando's going to have to win by 26 each to have a chance at total.
Big 9th and 10th boxes in both of the last 2 frames from Gauthier. Remember, in both cases, he went in needing 20 pins to win, and in both cases, he got a pair of marks and
That was clutch.
35 or so pins.
That was absolutely clutch because when you're in that situation where you need 2 10 boxes, yeah, it's doable. One mistake, and you know, punch out a half Worcester or something like that, and that's the game. So cementing that with a mark in the 9th both times is huge.
4 marks for Gauthier, 3 for Fernando. Fernando now will start things off in the 4th on lane 21. Just joined us. Stan Gauthier has a 6-0 lead. and leads in the match by 51 pins. Gacharna leaves it. Caleri, a clipped wing Caleri, you want to call it?
Mini Caleri. 1, 2, 4, 8, 9. 1, 2, 4, 9. There's a wood there that might help.
Whoa, beauty! Whoa! The head pin voyaged over to the right side and toppled the 9 pin on its way back.
He makes great use of the wall.
Gacharna's fill ball in the second. Great miss there. He hit the 2 pin and took out 8.
That was a fraction of an inch from being a half Worcester, too.
And the 2 pinner, no!
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Just a little full.
That's all it takes.
28 through
Good cleanup.
2.
Good cleanup. Get that 10 when you can't get the spare.
After winning last year's semi-pro division, and Fernando started the season against Eddie Woodside, who schooled him in the A's, won his first game. Then he faced his brother, who took him down.
It's off on the 4 pin that time, picks up just 3.
And then Rich Limoni, his other division mate, set him back 560 to 544. It's tough making that adjustment to A competition. How about that one? Whoa! What a pickup! It was a 10, but it was the 4 horsemen. Hit the 1 thin, came off the wall, and took out all three from the backside.
He's that wall action for him is amazing. He really gets some shots on there.
Okay. He's at 38 through 3 complete.
On a 2 pin again.
Why not?
A lot of late action. Just a head pin.
36 point. His ball speed has been between 36.2 and 36.6 all day.
I was fortunate last year because the division's not having to face Fernando in the semi-pro division. He's tough competitive. I can't believe that didn't go.
That's right. He came out of the North.
Yep.
Joined the South Conference this year. The Central is kind of the tipping point.
Yep.
When they set things up. That's a 9 for 47 through 4.
I did have a match there, so even though
Oh, there were some bowlers on there?
Peter Penny, I
That's
bowled
right.
there.
This year, I think all the bowlers out of Central this year are in the South. Along with a huge, I was going to count him up, the Millis contingent from the A's. Oh, no. We had Paul often asks, sometimes you're better missing the head pin. That's one of those cases. About 10% of the time.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Wow. Wow, what a shot of that.
About 10% of the time, you'd end up with a better outcome missing the head pin. That means 90% of the time I wouldn't do it. And you don't know which 10% it's going to be.
That's right. Oh, there's a 10% chance. Yeah.
That was a 57 half for Fernando. He threw the ball hard. He missed his head pin a few times.
He only left 1 pin up there.
Made 1 good spare, though. Yep. Third ball was right on the money.
That's the difference a lot of times is that third ball. That's why you have to erase the miss that you just made and try to get a 10.
Oh, that would be one of the 10%.
Ready. Yep.
You're far more likely to beat that 4 out of the 2 or the 3 slot.
Well, let's see if we can see another one made here. He's got a shot at it. Look at that.
He did exactly
All
the
but
thing. It's even tougher though because he's throwing the ball. Even though he starts left, he comes in from the right side with that. So he loses a little bit of the angle that he needs to send it up and cause that ricochet.
You hit it about as perfectly as you can for that. And there's it. No.
That'll be a 9. Pro average is 8.3 on spread eagles. So when you get a 9, you beat the average pro by 7/10 of a point. Figure your opponent's going to have them. How you do, even though it's not head-to-head, how you do on those
Oh,
is going to be a big part of the game score,
that
or
was
the match
Fernando's
score.
mark in that hand. Oh, he threatened to do it again, but
That is oddly called the Greek church.
you have a name for
I don't.
that.
It's a Greek church. It comes out of 10 pin. When you have the triple on one side, the 2 on the other. Apparently, that's what the Greek. I keep looking at pictures of the Greek churches, and I just don't see it. I'm sorry, guys.
He
Oh, nothing wrong with that bid.
No, he did everything he wanted to do on that. Hit that wood, move something over there, hope it sweeps through. It didn't. Left the 7 pin, but what a great effort that was.
Yeah, the Greek church is famous in 10 pin because it actually goes down at a lower rate than the 7/10 split.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It goes at 0.6% of a percentage of so 6 out of 1,000 of those would go. That was a 10 for Dan. Good on it. 3 good balls. Nothing wrong. Every one of his balls was hit its target. That one overcooked it, and
Late stuff, maybe.
the 3 falls late and falls forward, and the 1 is still there. That's not bad. That's not bad. They're not great.
I'd rather have that wood more to the right than it is, but it might work for him.
You can ask it the ball or the pin to bounce right into the corner. Let's see.
Oh, it went there. Right,
Oh!
back. Two tries.
It went back and forth.
It went exactly where it wanted to be, but it was flying too high. Did it a little tiny bit too hard for it to carry where he wanted it. And a 9.
Yeah. So there's 6 bowlers out of 16 in the ACST Pro South that bowl here in Millis.
Well, Millis has picked up an awful lot of bowlers. A group of us came down when Fairway and Natick closed, so there's a lot of us that used to be there, including, I know Dan Gauthier was there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was his main home. Glenn Gill was just visiting here. He's bowling here with his kids, another ACST bowler. He bowled in our league, Monday league. And
Bid at the 7/10 split, and he gently shoves the 7 pin, but not enough. Yeah, you're saying about who came here?
Yeah, so there's a lot of us. Our Friday night mixed league that there's a fair number of ACST bowlers and was originally a Natick league.
Yeah, I got it.
And this has turned out to be a great home for us. Those of us who came from Natick are very happy here.
So Gauthier opened with 36 through 4, trails Fernando's 57 nominally by 11, I'd say 11. So the bowlers out of Millis in the Pro Division are Justin Waters. He's our conference champion.
A former Natick
128 and 26. Rob Linehan, who comes out of he lives in Mansfield. Jake Cook.
Jake Cook he wasn't so much then. He was younger then. His father bowls on the
For the spare, he got it.
His father and his uncle and his mom all bowled in the Friday league and all came down here.
2 times Gauthier unzipped the 4 horsemen, and he will sit down with 46 and a ball. He's 4 under, but with a ball coming. Fernando, who had a spare and a 57 with better hit. Fernando led in pinning on that side.
Yeah, his pinning was awesome.
He's gonna have a little bit of a lead, but he's had good backsides, and then Gauthier's had even better ones the last 2 games. It is 6-0. Gauthier was headed for a 600 game a moment ago. He's at 382 through 3.
Oh, that was a good ball.
And a strike. That time it was the 8 that was the last to fall.
Knew that going down, that was going to be a strike. I was
The
surprised
two-
those two waited.
I think the same pin hit the 2 and the 8 somehow. and then both they fell opposite directions. They've been ricocheting like a helicopter. Yeah, it was his 5th.
Oh, close
strike.
to another one. Close to another one.
2-pinner remain. Oh, no! 2 times Fernando has chopped, actually 3 times today. No, the other one was Dan. 2 times Fernando, 1 time Dan has chopped 2 pinners, just like that.
Well, there's a 10. He's at 86 after 7. Got a nice 9 fill in the strike.
16 over. Lead is about 20 pins minus a ball. All right, there's the lambda again, the side saddle triangle plus the head pin.
Really?
Not this time.
No, just missed his object. Bumps it. There it goes. It's good at picking up those 10s.
Okay, 96 through 8.
He's only left 1 pin on the deck so far.
That's right, that was on a 9 drop.
Yep, and that was on a 9 drop.
Two spares, 17 pins worth of fill. He gets good break on that one, except it's the 1-5.
Yeah, that's a really weird leave.
Yeah,
It's very easy to make when there's a whole rack up there. Really tough to make when
is
there's
it?
nothing
Is it
behind.
easy to make when there's a whole rack up there? I don't think the
I'm
one.
thinking- I'm
I
thinking
don't think the
half
5 goes most of the time when you hit the head pin. You don't. The 5 doesn't
I'm
fall.
thinking of the half Worcester more, but the same
know.
idea. The two behind
It's not
each
easy
other.
to make a half Worcester either, though.
No, I don't know. I make them all the time.
No, they happen. They happen about 6% of the time when you miss, and you remember them. 6% on spread eagles, and 6% on the right, 6% on the left. That means basically 94% of the time when you hit the head pin, you don't you don't chop through. But it just doesn't. It seems so unfair that you remember it.
It's like, well, that was easy. I threw it through.
Yeah. That's a tough
That was tough.
pair of tough leaves. Fernando throwing real quickly now.
Oh, he's going for it. He's going to make a try.
So that'll be a 112. He's 12 over. Lead is down to 16. He left 4 on the plate in the last 2.
So that was a 55-second half.
Yep.
Not
He had-
too far off
he had
where
the
started.
strike.
Yeah.
He's not happy with it.
No, he's not. He's hoping to put it away this time, be over 120.
Gauthier was in the bonus. That's a 7, and he ends up with a 53 half. He needs to get probably 2 marks out of the.
I think this one goes. If he hits
Last
it on there.
two?
No,
No,
he's
no.
going to hit it. Wow. The wood appears to be covering the back pin.
Yep. Is that possible though?
It's,
I don't think that's possible. If the wood could cover the
Well,
back
maybe it's close. He got it. He capped though. There was more
Yep.
of a cap than there was. Yep, we got a pin down there.
Here, I'll go take care of it
All
from
right.
the side.
Thank you.
Phil Bob's going to take care of that for us. He just wants to play with the girders, I think. And then we'll see Danny in his 7th box. And ball triggering is back on, so we got the scoreboard up above.
Ooh.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Left-hand pocket.
Now,
I know he probably, ball-wise, would probably be better off on the right,
That
but
is
that was a ridiculous lead.
Bloody-minded leave, yep.
At 7, 8, 9, and a 5 in the middle.
He got it to come across.
I thought that wood was awful flat for that. I would have just tried to go for the triangle and see what I could do. But
All right.
let's get one and move on. He's going for 2.
Nope. He got an 8 as a result. 71. He's 1 over. Needs to get to 12 over to tie. 13 over to win. He's got 3 boxes. He's going to need 2 marks.
Yep, he needs 42 pins to win. 41 to tie. Well, that looked like a strike ball. That time he was in the right-hand pocket. And he's left with 257.
All right, this one has a decent chance. The baby split goes. It used to go more often here in Millis since they started cleaning the plates.
Right there. He wanted to play it on the inside.
Yep. But those inside balls sometimes just go right through.
Yep. If you don't, you got to make contact.
With Dan's ball spinning right to left, so a little bit of a nudge and it probably would have jumped. Whereas the trouble would have been trying to get that 5 pin. Let's see. Yeah.
Yep, the 5 pin.
Played it on the other side that
It went
time.
the right way, but it,
You want the ball to, I think you really want the ball to take out the baby split like that.
yeah. When I get that, I want to play it on the inside and hopefully not go through the hole. But if I can catch the left-hand side of that object pin, it's probably going to go.
All right, Dan needs 32 in the last 2.
That looked like a strike ball too.
Yeah, sure. Not a big difference between a 7-10 split and a strike.
No, there isn't. And unfortunately, the wood's not. And there's 3 pieces of wood there, and none of them are at an angle. They're all flat to the.
If he hits the tip, though, it's going to spin.
It does.
Oh boy!
There it goes.
What a spare for Gauthier.
He has a knack for those ninth box marks.
That puts it
And you're bouncing in that.
now.
box.
Any kind of a fill and another mark, and he can win the 4th game.
Well, he's got to come through on it though, because right now he's 90 in a ball in the 9th. That's a good ball. That's a 9 fill.
Boy.
That was big. That was huge.
And the wood's pointed in the right direction, but it just rolled about 2.5 feet out.
He's got to mark this to win it though. He needs a spare and 4 to win.
Yep. Oh no!
No.
And Fernando Gacharna will win the 4th game.
Down to the last box. And there it is. There it is. Three pin game. Fernando wins 112 to 109. Okay, now we're going to go into our 5th and final game. And Dan Gauthier's won 6 points, and Fernando's won 2 so far. And there are the scores, as you can see. And in total, Gauthier is at 491, and Fernando's at 443.
So it's a 48 pin difference.
And we're ready to start our 5th game. Dan's going to throw a ball down the gutter, clear out that wood. I've seen a lot of that today. All right, here comes Fernando for game 5 on lane 21. He's hoping for a big victory here to have a chance at total. At least he's going to go home with some points.
wind up. And the pitch. Left 4 inches left of his target, maybe 5. That's where you get that half Worcester.
That distinctive plunk of a half Worcester hat.
How
Oh,
about
there you
that?
go, on the inside.
Bid.
5 and 9 remaining.
And that'll be a 9 in the first.
Okay, going into box 2. That's in there. Oh,
No.
Two fall. Spread eagle.
Gacharna has scores of this season of 571, 551, 544, 575,
And he's off to the left, just takes out the 7.
546, 549 against Parkinson.
Oh, and the worst thing you can do is put it through the hole. So a 5 box.
556 against Jake Cook. So he's been really consistent up in that 550s zone. He's at 440 now through 443 through 4.
So if he's in the 110s, he's right back in there again.
Yep.
Where he's been. And I can't see that.
It's a check mark, fronted by the head pin.
A little unusual to see that.
Just missed, but never mind the miss. He got it.
And it's well drifted
He
off to
blessed-
the left a little
He
bit.
blasted the 2. Wood bounced off the left wall, I believe, then to the right wall,
It made all the
and
difference.
came back and took out the 3 pins
A little
remaining.
extra energy in his ball from throwing it that
Oh, yeah.
fast makes a huge difference sometimes. Hey, that gives him 24 and a fill.
Beautiful shot. Half the rack is gone. A little bit thin, maybe.
He was on the head pin, but it was light. Nope. Is he going to steal another one here?
Nope. That one stayed. So Fernando, 29 through 3 complete. 39 through 4. Remember, he had a 5 in the second off the spread eagle.
Yeah, that hole looks awful big when you have a spread eagle in front of you. It's so easy to put that ball down there.
Boom.
And
Oh, no. 2 in one side.
All
Makes-
over the head pin.
It makes you feel like you should switch religions or something. It is a very, very
Good
difficult.
bid. Good bid. He took it on the inside, tried to carry it over from the
Huge
wall.
blow to your pride, to your belief in justice.
It's absolutely aggravating. It's one of the reasons I despise that league. And I've had games where I played where you throw 2 or 3 of them in a row. And it's just like, well, I'm all over the head pin, but just a little too much. All right, 47 after 5.
Seems like you should get more points for that. It's the more accurate than hitting the side of the pin.
You never see that in 10 pin, that's for sure. Out there was on the 3 pin.
I think
that time.
physics has something to do with that.
Oh, yeah. Look at, oh, no, didn't break.
All right, so coming into the match, Gauthier had a 115 average today. He's put together scores of 119, 129, 134, and 109, well above that. 491.
Just picks off the 2 pin, leaves 3 for a 7 box.
Been averaging 420 122 and change, or 122 and change. Starts with a 7 here in the 5th. He needs a 109 to catch 600.
It's well within the realm of possibility. Gotta get back on that head pin now.
It's below his average, in fact. So
Well, that's an interesting lead.
all right,
He's got a triangle, which by itself wouldn't be too bad, but that one pin in front of it, he's got it deflect to
I
the
think
right.
the wood is right next to the head pin, so I think he's going to try to squeeze it in there. If it squeezes just right, let's see. It
There we
goes.
go.
How about that?
That was the way to do it. There wasn't much margin for error on that either.
That was pretty.
Makes up for the 7 box. And it's a good time to do it when he's up against the 5 box. Look at this. No?
All right, that was the same hay bale type leave, but that time the head pin bounced back and nudged the 4 pin on its way through. It actually slid between the 2 and the 5 pin. Talking about throwing one between the 2 and the 5 pin, that's what Gauthier did, but he was not rewarded. If that 4 pin had been there, it might have gone. You know,
Yeah.
I think the wood would have crumbled that way, but it's a weird game. 10 in the 3rd, 33 through 3. He's 3 over. Fernando finished the first 3 under with a spare and a one really tough box. That one was on the left side of the 2-4.
This is exactly the same leave he had in the last box, only moved over to the right. He's got 4 pins there. And the 1-3.
Yeah,
Looks like
it's a 2 pinner in front of a triangle, right?
Yeah.
Wow, we got everything but the object. Third ball in the 4th now for Shu.
No.
Still there. And he's at 42.
You can get a good lead here with a spare.
He's been averaging 4 marks per game so far today. And there's his second one here in the half. So
That's a
he
hammer.
keeps on the 2-mark quota.
That was where he needed one.
52 in a ball, a 5-pin lead plus bonus.
That's 2 balls. All right, coming up to finish is Fernando. He'll finish the match.
Fernando
He has a
Has
shot
it-
at the string.
he has an injured ring finger, I believe, on his throwing hand right now.
You wouldn't know it by watching his ball.
It just hurts.
Yeah.
Maybe he may not be able to apply the same spin and touch to it. He was open in the 5th, though. He had a couple of spread eagles. Really hurt his side in the top of the 5th. All right, that's barely any easier than the this is like a 3-1. Again, the problem is that the 2. It's easy to get the 2-pinner. It's easy to get the 5.
Well,
He has to squeeze it, I think.
if you're going to get that lead, that's best wood to have on it.
Squeezes it.
Got it. No problem.
Both bowlers made improbable combos there. You had to hit the. He had to squeeze the ball between the wood that was perpendicular.
He's got a shot at this string.
Yeah.
He really does. Either bowler does.
Trailing by just 5 now.
Look at that ball. That was has some power.
That's about the third time he's left the 6-7, though.
Yeah. The wood's a little better this time.
Yeah, if he hits
stays
it
to the right side of that pin, it'll carry the wood.
I think if he
over.
hits it full, it's gone. I think the wood will slide right across.
You think if he hits it straight on?
Yep, full. It can come from the right
Yeah, I
side,
see
but
that.
full is fine. Oh no!
He did exactly that, and it just.
Well, it was left. He was on the left side of it.
See, I thought it was
He
right.
cut. He ended up hitting the cap of the wood with the
started
ball.
moving there, and just didn't have enough on it to get over there.
That is blood. That is a shame. He threw a beautiful ball. 8 on the fill though, and a 9 in the 7th. He's at 74, 4 over. Gauthier at 2 over plus bonus, 2 bonus balls. Like to see him get a couple marks here on the back. You have a good chance of winning.
Off to the right, sticks out 4. It's tough to bowl with an injury. You never know when to call it and then stay out. I'm just coming off the one myself, and I know what you mean on that. It can really mess you up.
Oh, pretty shot.
That was in there. I don't know why
that
that didn't go.
That's the head pin not hitting the 5 pin, Dan. I mean, it doesn't usually take the 5 pin out on the way through unless you end up with a split.
Yep.
You know, you have to throw a split ball on that one.
You wanted a 10 there. You don't want to leave pins on it in a close game like this.
So he's 2 over. Both bowlers are 2 over. Dan with bonus balls coming though he's got to get at least 1 mark to give himself a chance to win this last string without a gift from Dan.
And Fernando's very deliberate before he throws up there. He wants to make sure he's got his head on this one. It's a big shot. Both of these are. Just off on the left a little bit. Picks up the 2 pin. Let's see, I have the 1, 3, 6, and 7. It's makeable.
Yeah.
Hold it left again.
He needs 2 or 3 pins here and a spare. All right, good
Not bad,
out.
Not bad. If you can't get a 10, at least get a 9. They need that.
He's at 91 through 9. With a mark and a good fill, will be up around 110.
So
Good.
big box for him if he wants to take home 4 instead of 2. Off on the left again.
Oh,
A little late action.
Yeah,
Breaks
yeah.
up to Caleri. That's good.
Cleary's fall at a Cleary's are made at a 20% rate, and 4 Horsemen closer to 36%. So it's like that doubled his chances of making this. He just needs to hit that head pin and
He does.
oh
Doesn't take
no, tough. When he needed it most, that'll be a
He's in the
9.
gutter on that one.
That one, he threw that one away. So 101. So Gauthier in a position now where he's likely to win. He just needs to pin out, basically. He needs to fill. He needs to fill.
Yeah,
Needs a fill on the
once
strike.
He's got a fill, he's at 52, so he's already over 50.
There's 6 of them. If he gets a few more, then he can make his way with 9s. It'll be fine.
Yeah. That's why those last 2 boxes are so critical for Fernando.
Yeah. And how about
He's got
that?
the mark.
3 in a row on the 4 Horsemen for Gauthier.
Yeah, he eats that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet that his rate in Millis is better than 36%.
that helped the build against the late action, but this will be pretty if it goes. It needs to be right on the 1 free pocket. He got a shot at it.
That's right. So Fernando ended up with a 100 officially. With his final box was a 9.
Dan's at 78 through completed.
All right, he gave 3 back though.
Yep.
All right, so just as we were talking about, all he needs is 9s to go. The 7s make it so he will now need it.
He's 15 pins to tie in 3 boxes.
Yeah. No more 7s though, right?
Well, he can do it all.
Yeah, I guess
fives.
he could do it.
All 5s he can get it.
That's right. That's right. He could. Yeah.
Well, that was interesting. Now this shot is interesting because that front wood, if he plays it to the left, is what he. Oh,
he got it!
In
What
the
a spare
on the
pickup.
red line.
All right, Dan now has virtually clinched the
Is
5th game,
Phil will
and
do it.
the match is over officially.
And that does it.
Yeah. 100. 103, 100 through 8 complete.
No,
and
it's
he,
104 is shorted him a pin on the scoreboard.
oh, okay.
So there you go.
There you go.
Dan's
And,
winning on a
and
short
that means he just broke 600 also.
There's another one.
Yep. He only needed 109, and he's at 114 in the ball.
And another box to go.
Well, Dan was in the B division last year too, the semi-pro division.
I know.
And he was a little more experienced and a little bit more of a pro than the average B.
Yeah.
He's showing it here. He's well on his way to a playoff position. He's in 6th place.
I thought that was going to go.
Eight teams, of course, will eight players, of course, will make the playoffs.
8 in each division.
Yep.
Top 4 plus a 4.
Well, in each conference, right?
Right.
Yep.
Very good. 131.
Yeah, 131, and we're gonna give him a 622, I believe.
So we're coming up with totals here, and we'll wrap it up. So we know Fernando will have 2 points, and Gauthier will have 12 points.
There it is. Final is official. 622 to 543. Dan Gauthier opens up Fernando Gacharna, and he is in great position to make the playoffs. Dan, thanks so much for calling the matches today.
Oh, what a fun time we have with this. We're doing great. I'm just itching to get back to bowling.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll be back soon.
If there's a pro match, we'll probably be there watching or maybe even participating. Anyway, I'm Bob Lee. Goodbye.